Hi everyone, Karen Cecilia here. Welcome to History in Stories. I'm going to give you two brief stories in this episode. And for the first time since we've been doing this, these two episodes are about women with Jamaican connections. The first one, you know pretty well. Yeah, you should. You all should know her pretty well. And I'm going to talk about her first, and then I am going to tell you about another Jamaican. Well, the other one isn't entirely a Jamaican woman, but she does have Jamaican roots as far as the history is telling me. So here goes. Remember to like the video and share it, and particularly with the young people, schoolers, them let them learn the history. They told her no again and again. So she spent her life savings, sailed across an ocean into a war zone, and built a hospital from scrap metal while cannon fire echoed in the distance. The soldiers called her Mother. The British Empire tried to forget her name. When war erupted in Crimea in 1853, Mary Seacole knew exactly what to do. A Jamaican-born healer who had spent decades mastering tropical medicine and treating cholera epidemics across the Caribbean. She traveled to London with one purpose, and that is to serve. The War Office rejected her application. She applied again. Then they rejected it. Then she applied again. Then she approached the Florence Nightingale's famous nursing corps, and they rejected her as well. Most people would have accepted defeat, but Mary Seacole was not most people. So instead, she bought a ticket to the war front instead. Using every penny that she had saved, Mary sailed to the Crimean Peninsula, but she didn't stay behind the lines in the relative safety of base hospitals. She didn't do that at all. While others tended to the wounded in distant facilities, Mary rode out on horseback directly onto the battlefields where men were falling. She arrived with wine. Of course, she's a Jamaican woman. She knows if she's going on the battlefield, she's going to need alcohol to dull the pain. And food. Of course, she's Jamaican. Yeah, alcohol and food to restore strength. And bandages to stop the bleeding. Soldiers would later recall seeing her silhouette moving through the gun smoke, a steady hand in the chaos, offering comfort when death felt certain. Mary Seacole didn't just bring medicine, she brought humanity. With scrap metal, wooden crates, and iron determination, she constructed what she called the British Hotel near Balaclava. It wasn't grand. It was a patchwork refuge built from salvaged materials that could only survive temporary. But it was all that they needed. Because inside, exhausted soldiers found what they desperately needed: warm meals, clean beds, and someone who treated them not as numbers in a regiment, but as sons and husbands far from home. They stopped calling her nurse. To them, she was Mother Seacole. But when the cannons finally fell silent and the war ended, Mary returned to England with empty pockets and a body worn down by years of relentless service. While others received medals and honors, Mary faced poverty. But the soldiers didn't forget her. They organized a grand military festival that lasted 4 days, a massive celebration to honor the woman who had saved so many of them when their own government had turned away. Mary Seacole died in 1881. For nearly a century, her story faded from memory, overshadowed by others who had received the recognition that she deserved. But truth has a way of surfacing. Today, Mary Seacole stands as a testament to a simple, powerful truth. Courage isn't about waiting for permission. It's about showing up when you're needed most, even when the doors are slammed in your face. Her legacy reminds us that the greatest heroes are often those who were never invited to be heroes at all. They just showed up. They just were present. They just did what was not even asked of them, but they felt was required of them. Mary Seacole is truly a hero. The British Times wrote in 1856 about Mary Seacole, and there's a quote from that article, and I quote, "I trust that England will not forget one who nursed her sick, who sought out her wounded to aid and succor them, and who performed the last offices for some of her illustrious dead." Mary Seacole is an unforgotten hero, no matter how hard they try, and she deserves recognition and our love and honor. The other story I'm bringing to you is brought to you by Women in History, and it's about a woman who was born in North Carolina but has Jamaican roots. In 1858, a baby girl was born into slavery in Raleigh, North Carolina. She had no rights, no freedom, and by the word's definition, she had no future. Her name was Anna Julia Cooper. By the time she was 9 years old, she walked through the doors of a school for formerly enslaved children, not just as a student, but as someone who refused to be told what she couldn't learn. When the school tried to block her from Greek and Latin classes because she was a girl, she protested, and she won. At 11, she was already teaching other children. At 19, she married. At 21, she was widowed. She never remarried. But she never stopped moving forward either. She fought her way into Oberlin College, skipped freshman year entirely, and graduated with a degree in mathematics. She became a principal in Washington, D.C., sending students from poverty into Yale, Harvard, Brown, and Mount Holyoke. At a time when black students weren't even supposed to dream that big, she did it. When administrators tried to stop her, she resigned rather than lower her standards. When life handed her 5 orphan children to raise, she adopted them all without hesitation, mid-doctorate. At 65 years old, after decades of teaching, raising children, writing, speaking, and fighting, Anna Julia Cooper walked across a stage at the Sorbonne in Paris and received her PhD. She was only the 4th black woman in American history to do so. She taught until she was 72, led a university until her 80s, advocated for education until her final breath. She died in 1964 at age 105. Today, I want you to pay attention to this. One quote, hers, her quote, is printed inside every single United States passport. What that quote is? The cause of freedom is not the cause of a race or a sect, a party or a class. It is the cause of humankind, the very birthright of humanity. That quote is printed in every U.S. passport, and she was the one who said it. Out of every president, general, and founding father, America chose the words of a woman born enslaved to represent what that nation should stand for. She didn't just survive history. No, not at all. She shaped it. What a great woman. Anna Julia Cooper was a hero. bigger up. Thank you all so much for listening. God bless you all. Stay safe. Remember to like the video and share it. All right. Stay safe, everybody, and keep the children safe.